Using transformations, lesson 21 notes, example number 4. What sequence of transformations can be used to show that triangle PQR is similar to triangle P double prime, Q double prime, R double prime? The key word there is similar, so go ahead and highlight that. Now guys, looking at this, I clearly have a whole lot more written down right now than you do on yours. Don't do anything. Don't worry about writing it all down yet. I will give you plenty of time to pause the video and write it down as we work. The first thing I do want you to write down, though, is what's written across the top here. See, the key word there was similar because that means a dilation had occurred. And honestly, if a dilation occurs, I think it's actually easier to solve the problem. So, if a sequence of transformations includes a dilation, work backwards. Pause your video and go ahead and write down what I've highlighted at the top. Okay, so we're going to work backwards. In other words, we're going to start with the double prime figure, find the prime figure, and then figure out what happened. So we know a dilation occurred, so we're going to figure out the prime figure by using the dilation. We're going to work backwards. Well, there are 5 steps to do this. Step 1 will be to find the scale factor. Step 2 will be to find your ordered pairs for P prime, Q prime, and R prime. Once you find those ordered pairs, that's step 3 where you actually plot it on the graph. Then you'll look at PQR and P prime, Q prime, R prime, and we will find the first transformation by looking at the orientation. That's step 4. And then finally, step 5 is our final answer. So let's start with step 1. For step 1, we need to find the scale factor. And remember, scale factor is the ratio of the length of a side in the image to the length of a side in the pre-image. So, let's look at PR. PR is 4 units, and then its corresponding side would be P double prime, R double prime, which is 8 units. So, to find the scale factor, I would take 8 divided by 4, because 8's the image, and 4 would be from the pre-image. So our scale factor is 8 divided by 4. And what is 8 divided by 4? 2. Okay, so right now, pause your video and get all of that written down. Okay, step 2 is find P prime, Q prime, R prime. Well, we are finding a pre-image. We're going to start with the double primes. Remember, we are working backwards. We are going from the double prime to the prime. We're doing the opposite of what we did before. Before, you were given a pre-image and you found an image by taking the coordinates of the pre-image and multiplying it by the scale factor. But now we're working backwards. So now we know the image and we want to find the pre-image. So we wanted to divide by the scale factor. So pre-image is image divided by scale factor. Go ahead, pause your video, and get all of that written down. Okay, so to find our pre-image, we're working backwards. We're using the double prime coordinates. So I used the double prime triangle right here. I'm going to take those ordered pairs, and I'm going to divide them by the scale factor, which would look like this. So the dark blue is the ordered pair of the P double prime, Q double prime, R double prime. And then the light blue is the scale factor. So I'm dividing. Because we're working backwards, we divide. So I divide to find P prime, Q prime, R prime. Well, when you do that, we get that P prime is at 1, 1, Q prime is at 3, negative 4, and R prime is at 5, 1. So go ahead, pause your video, and get all of step 2 written down. Okay, now that we have those points, now we go to step 3, which is to actually plot those points. We're going to plot 1, 1, 3, negative 4, and 5, 1. So we're going to plot 1, 1, 3, negative 4, and 5, 1. And now I'm going to connect them. Make sure when you connect them, your lines are straight. Okay, so if I label this, this would be P prime, Q prime, and R prime. All right, so that is step 3. Make sure you pause your video and get all of that written down. Step 4, find your first transformation by looking at the orientation. So now we are looking at the orientation of the two smaller triangles. Well, Q is directly across from Q prime. P is directly across from P prime. R is directly across from R prime. So that means they have an opposite orientation. Opposite orientation means that there was a reflection. Opposite orientation means that there is a reflection. So go ahead and get that written down. All right, now, if there was a reflection, then there has to be a line of reflection. And remember, a line of reflection would be in between, halfway between PR and P prime, R prime. So since there are 4 units from P to P prime, I'm going to go halfway, and that's where my line of reflection would be. So I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. And my line of reflection would be right here. Doesn't have to be perfect, just draw a dotted line. Again, this is our line of reflection. All right, so it's a horizontal line. Where is that horizontal line? Where would it cross the y-axis? Well, it would cross the y-axis at that point right there, which would be positive 3. So our line of reflection is y equals 3. Our line of reflection is at y equals 3. So what happened? How do we go from PQR to P double prime, Q double prime, R double prime? First, it was a reflection across the line y equals 3, followed by a dilation with a scale factor of 2. A reflection across the line y equals 3, followed by a dilation with a scale factor of 2. All right, guys. Make sure you pause the video. Everything I have written down needs to be written down in your notes. Please make sure you get this all written down. If you have any questions, please let me know. One thing before I go, I will tell you this. The line of reflection here, the y equals 3, from this point forward, I'll make the line of reflection easier by using an axis to do the reflection. So it will be much easier. That's why I did this one as part of the notes. To find your line of reflection, all you have to do is go halfway in between. If you have any questions, let me know.